Rolling Quartz. You know what? I realised it's actually been a couple of months since I last did a Rolling Quartz reaction, and I was really enjoying this whole journey of catching up with their music, but there's just been so many things happening over New Year, and we've been discovering all kinds of new artists that I didn't come back to Rolling Quartz for a little while, so here we are to check out more. Now, I just went through their YouTube page, and I was thinking, well, what am I going to listen to next? I thought this time I'll just pick something randomly, and I saw the thumbnail for this video, which is called Azalea. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I just remember seeing the setting in this beautiful, I'm assuming it's a Korean temple. And, you know, I've spent time in Korea, but I'm not super knowledgeable about the architecture. I know I recognize most of it, but you know, I recognize it kind of well, but I'm not an expert. But yeah, so anyway, I'm assuming this is in like a Korean temple setting. But the thing is that I just remember that I have seen this thumbnail before, and you guys might have recalled from watching my previous videos that I'd mentioned on our Discord community a few years ago that people had been mentioning Rolling Quartz and the name had come up, but I just never really had the time to sit down and listen to them. And I think this is one of the videos that was probably posted on my Discord community that I just like at the time didn't have a chance to listen to. So for anyone who did post this on my Discord community, linked below, apologies. I'm finally catching up now, so forgive me. Anyway, as mentioned, I won't bore you too much with the whole backstory. Obviously, watch my previous Rolling Quartz videos if you want to know more about my opinion. But basically, this is a band who, yeah, I've been pretty impressed by it. I think they've got this lovely, clean recording sound that allows you to get a good punch out of the music. But at the same time, there is a sort of a rock rawness to it. There's that nice balance between, you know, sounding rocking and sounding well produced. We're going to get into this. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for liking this video if you can, and if you want me to check out more Rolling Quartz, obviously get in the comments. Let's go. Well, that's dramatic. Well, it's very dramatic. Okay, that was a turn. Ooh, very mid-tempo start. Okay, where are we going with this? Wow, this sounds much more old school. That guitar lick is reminding me of another song, and I can't remember what one is. Very beautiful. Yeah, it's really reminding me of another song, and I can't remember which one. It's so old school, but it's so anthemic. It still has that quality they have for these big choruses and just big melodies. How are you not getting your hair caught in that guitar? Loving the power. Yeah, just the takeaway is just how big and powerful everything sounds. But it's not just this kind of it's not just like this sort of boneheaded just power, loud. It's a power that comes from a very old school sort of place. You know, I really wish I could remember. It's really reminding me that guitar like the picking guitar line used in the verse is really reminding me of like an old school rock song. I'm not as well versed on these kind of old school guitar heavy rock songs as a lot of other people are. But yeah, there is one. I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments telling me. I'm sure some other people might have noticed this. But the thing is that overall, this song, despite having a bit of an old school sound, it does still sound quintessentially like a Rolling Quartz song. There's a lot of it is building up to that big chorus where the singer's really able to project, and she's using her voice to just sort of convey so much power, which is a big part of Rolling Quartz sound. You know, a big part of what they do is that anthemic choral quality, and I thought they did a good job as well here with the layered backing vocals in the recording. I really like that. It really, although as powerful as her voice was, it added to the choral sound that I was talking about there. So I thought the overall the whole power and energy of the song was really on point. But what was interesting, as I mentioned, is that behind that, the band wasn't just sort of like heavy guitar. Like a lot of the guitar work you got, even in that last chorus, you know, the guitar's playing like a sort of muted chord pattern. It's much more focused on the rhythm and, you know, there's sort of little details. It felt like a song where the power was conveyed more by big drum line and big vocals, and just by the sheer writing, you know, writing a powerful chorus melody rather than needing to be loud, as in constantly filling up every single space between every beat with like loud chugging guitars. Now, I'm all for loud guitars, but this is a very impressive way of doing it alternatively. So this, compared to the other Rolling Quartz songs I've thus far heard on this channel, this one is it's still identifiably Rolling Quartz, and yet tonally, whereas a lot of their songs otherwise feel quite, should we say, modern, this does feel very old school. I mean, to be honest, I would be, if someone told me this was a cover of an old rock song that I just wasn't familiar with, I would be inclined to go, okay, fair enough. It wouldn't there's nothing on here that indicates it is, but it's I wouldn't be super shocked by that. It feels very much like them putting their signature qualities onto a much more old school rock sound. I must say the video location was great. I think some of the camera work was a little bit random. There were some shots where you just felt like the cameraman had access to a drone and just was like zoom, zoom, zoom. So there wasn't so much consistency in the movement of the shots, which made it a little bit weird. But I think the location was great. The idea of having them all standing at the front on like little display perches. They got little display podiums with Rolling Quartz written on the bottom. I don't know. I find that a little bit strange. I gotta be honest. But fair enough. Hey, every band's got their own style of displaying themselves on stage. I just like the idea. They almost look like they've turned themselves into figurines standing on their little podiums. Collectible. Gotta catch them all. Gotta collect all the members of Rolling Quartz. Yeah, a Rolling Quartz Pokemon game. I'm sure there's a lot of people who'd sign up for that. So yeah, this felt so interesting because, as mentioned, a lot of the Rolling Quartz qualities, but it felt very different. I think the video as well, this outside in this big location, very different from a lot of their sort of soundstage music videos that I think would account for all the videos I've heard seen thus far. And the sound being much more old school as opposed to their much more contemporary sounding songs that I've otherwise heard. But the fact that the instrumentation is much more reliant on, you know, having nice counters between the guitars and between the bass, having a focus on power coming from the drums and the vocals. This to me is all like part of what makes Rolling Quartz so cool. And having a song that is different from the other ones I've heard thus far is not a bad thing. Variation, variety is the spice of life. A band who just keeps on rinsing and repeating, well, however good they might be, if a band just does the same thing over and over again, it makes them less of a band, in my opinion, because it's like, well, if all you can do is summed up in 1 or 2 songs, then that's not great. So yeah, I have a lot of respect for this fact that this is such a different song from the other ones we've heard, and that it shows that extra degree of variation. Would it be a song that I would listen to as much as the others? Maybe not. But I would still definitely, if this song came on, I'd definitely enjoy it. I think you'd have to kind of be in the mood for this. It's a very brooding kind of song. And I think you'd have to be in that kind of brooding, intense, sort of thoughtful state to really enjoy this song. But it was, you know, some of their other songs are just much more like, bam, let's be loud. So, yeah, I think you'd have to be in the right mood for it. But I wouldn't say this is any a lesser a song than their others, even if I would probably myself be less on a day-to-day basis inclined to just sort of whip this one on. I still think it's a really cool song, so I really enjoyed that, and you know, adds a bit of more color to the Rolling Quartz journey that I've been enjoying so much. So good stuff. Get in the comments, tell me what you think. Remember to subscribe, like, all that stuff, and please obviously remember to subscribe and like to Rolling Quartz if you haven't already. And until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. That's where I'm at. I'm in Japan. Hey, just across the pond. For now, ciao, ciao.